Oh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Metaphysical Happy Hour. We are having a few technical issues this evening, so bear with us a little bit, but spirits in the house, that's for sure. So, Tracy, how have you been this week?
I've been good. Spirit is definitely in the house and big energy shifts. And I don't know, it's been a crazy kind of a week, and our internet is going in and out. So bear with us. So if you'll help us out there, let me know if, hi, Arlene. Hi. Let us know if we freeze, if something happens. You guys have to be my eyes and ears because I can't tell from this end. So come on in, say hello, say where you're from. We have a great show ready. Are you ready this week, Cass?
I am. Absolutely.
I know. It's going to be an interesting show. So let us know if we go in and out because Cassie keeps going in and out on me. Oh, no, it might be my internet. Tell us who we have today.
All right, so we actually we have a special guest with us tonight. Her name is Mia. She is joining us from all the way from Sweden, which is absolutely amazing that she is up at about 2 a.m. this morning.
2 in the morning there,
yeah. So she is a Spiritual
you guys.
Ascension Way shower and energy therapist. She's also, so yeah, without further ado.
Let's bring on Mia.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here.
Hi, Miss Mia. How are you? Are you good at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, it's actually really good. I mean, the energies are so high, so potent. So I feel it's all good. I could do this more often, maybe. 2
All gonna be
a.m.
good, not to worry. Yeah.
Yay.
Well, we go live on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. So anybody watching, please leave us a comment. Let us know where you're from so we can shout you out. I'm going to do a little shameless plug before we get started, Cassie, too, before we get in to interview. Oh, look, we got people coming in already. So as most of you guys know, my book released September 6th. It's called You Can Be a Medium, How a Red Couch Led Me to Mediumship and Turned My Pain into Purpose. It is now out on Amazon for purchase. So thank you guys who've all supported. I think we have sold almost 250 books so far. So I'm super excited about that. Thanks. Mm-hmm. And if you're in the Virginia area in December, I think, I don't even have my December. But in December, I'll be in Virginia area serving spirit at a spiritualist church there. So I'm excited about that. So if you're in that area, please come out and see me. Fun.
Yeah.
There it is. Yes, December 9th, 10th, and 11th. I'll be serving spirit. Yeah, I'm excited. Nice. What you got, Cass?
Well, I just, as always, I do, my company is Stargazers Unite. So I help with websites, logos, and branding materials for spiritual business owners. So yeah, that's me. So, and so
she
Mia,
did an amazing job on it. Yay!
Yes. So let's tell us your story. You've now heard a little bit about us. We want to know all about you. Tell us about your journey. You were saying,
who you are, what you do, what you do.
Yes. And also you were saying one of the things that I think is unique as well is that you do like the business mentoring, and you're actually talking about kind of like the because I think sometimes when people get into the spiritual work, they wonder, can I actually make a living at this? And just from our conversations and everything that you said, it's like you have really brought your business up to a really cool place, and I think that that's really awesome for our viewers to know that yes, it is super possible. And just kind of tell us about your journey. We've done all the talking so far.
Yeah, exactly. I can start, and then you put in all the questions when you're wondering. So, well, my journey started really early. I remember already when I was 5 years old, I was seeing aura. So I was seeing aura on myself and all the other people. And I really needed to develop all my intuitive gifts. So because I was really brought up in this dysfunctional family where my father was abusing my mother, and I needed to know when he was on his way. So I needed to really develop all of these skills. I needed to feel outside the house on what kind of energy he was in, and once he was in, reading him and all of that. So it was really like a survival mechanism that really brought me into being so curious about people, energies, and choices. So I started to record my parents' fights when I was 5 years old, and I was really trying to navigate through listening to them, and I was giving them advices. So I started with therapy when I was kind of 5 years old, giving therapy to my parents. And then that just continued all the time, that I just wanted to understand people, and I had that huge life force energy where I was just loving life. I was This massive abuse was taking place in my house, but as soon as I went out in nature, I was so connected with all the spiritual beings. I saw so many things. So I didn't understand why people were so sad, or why they did choose to be sad and see things so mellow. And it just continued, and then I became like an aerobic instructor, dancing instructor, teacher, dancer teacher, yoga teacher. Went into that whole yoga spirituality, started to channel a lot through my yoga classes, and I started to realize that this is not only yoga. People are getting like full on activations, healings, and channelings on the classes, and it was just more and more full. And yeah, I started with crystals when I was like 20 years old. So I've been in this kind of journey, like really as like a teacher already for 30 years. So I started very early to be a teacher and teach. And I went to psychology teachings, and I was a coach, a psychologist, go leaving the spiritual world, going into my psychology. But then I mixed that together. And of course, I was also having a lot of health clubs. I was owning a lot of health clubs with my ex-husband. And there I also learned how to be a businesswoman, and I mean how to wake up people and have them understand what an important shift you can make through your body, through connection, through meditation. So yeah, and then one day my family of light, as I was a healer and I was having my own studio, it was fully booked. I was so happy. They told me, now you need to create your own teacher training, like create the therapist of the new world. You need to assist people into merging healing, the higher realms with psychology, so people can have even spiritual people really have a really nice life on earth. So yeah, and that's where I am right now, having a lot of big activations online and traveling all over the world, but also having my big therapist course. And as you said about making a living on this, my 7 month journey is all about that, going so deep to see what's not healed inside of you. Because if you love yourself 100%, if you have healed enough that you compassionately witness when you do crazy mistakes, then you will make a living on it. It will be no problem. If you love yourself, then you have nothing to lose. You are not
Mhm.
scared of becoming rejected, abandoned, betrayed, like anything. Like there's no shame, no guilt, no fear, no comparison. So it's about really going so deep into your healing, and once you've done that, start to jump and go into trial and error and just really do what you feel passionate about. So it's easy, but it's not easy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's easy, but it's not easy. You talk a lot about healing. How important, well, first, what does healing mean to you? So remember, we have a lot of people who haven't even started yet, right? What does healing
Mhm.
even mean? What does that mean
So it's
to
like
heal?
transforming different kind of experiences or energies or experiences. It can be something physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, something that is becoming transformed from dark into light, if we can say so, from something blocked into flowing.
Yeah,
So, mm, from low energy to high energy. Yeah.
that's perfect. High energy. And how
Absolutely.
important do you think it is for human race or humankind or just humans to heal? That important for them?
I think
How would
it's
it change them?
I think it's very important, and I feel it's important. We need to own our story. That's what I feel. I mean, I've been through so much, probably you too, like not only in my childhood, but through my marriages and all of those things. So to own your story and to be able to forgive yourself. If you haven't forgiven yourself for what you maybe caused people or your children to different choices and stuff like that, it will be really hard to forgive anyone else. And if we don't own our story, there's always something that we're trying to hide. So it's really important to dive deep and really, I mean,
Yeah.
have someone holding space for you, that you feel safe with, if that's a therapist, a healer, or
Hmm.
channeler, or whatever, or a mix of it. Someone that can hold space for you as you get back your power. It's about self-empowering people. We don't fix people, right? We just hold space as they fix themselves. So it's a lot about owning your story, because what we have been through, if we carry any shame, any guilt, that will follow us. And there will always be this conscious and subconscious fear of anything of that being revealed. And it will also create different stories and limiting belief systems and identities around who we are, what we can do, what we cannot do. And we will keep listening to our inner judge. So it's everything to do our healing. It's everything, and it continues, right?
Yeah,
Never ends.
absolutely.
Right. It continues. And it's never ends. It never ends. I always thought, I've done so much work over the last 6 years, I've got, but things still trigger me and things still come up. So it's a constant process of
Yeah.
healing and checking in with yourself and some self-awareness. And I just feel we're always growing and there's always something, right? So I think that's really good. And it's very interesting as I get more and more into this, and I think we have the same idea. I'm fascinated by psychology and the brain and human beings and how we did that. It fascinates me. We've just seen so much change in the brain from healing and the
Mm.
spiritually from healing. You had mentioned earlier about that, and it just sparked something within me because right now I just started therapy too. So going to a normal therapist versus a spiritual. But even then, I just love and want to soak up all the learning that you can just learn from people. So I just wanted to say that because I know you've blended it and I can see
Mm.
why, right? There's
Yeah,
natural, you know,
exactly. We have all different
it's like a
like
natural
escape.
blending of it's just interesting to me.
Yeah, we, I mean, we tend to have these different escape
Yeah.
mechanisms. So I meet a lot of people coming to me and that are on the spiritual path, and they have maybe done too much up in the higher realms,
Mhm.
so they know everything about their past lifetimes and who they were, whom they were not, and they're cleared and cleared and cleared, but they're struggling massively to have a nice human experience on this planet. And that's so important. And then it can be the opposite way. We have been maybe taking too much therapy, and we need to connect to God's source or to something higher. So that's both. It's usually we tend
Yeah.
to do one of it too much, and then we need to balance it up. And by the end of the day, if you see yourself as a spiritual being, or we still, it doesn't really matter how what you see yourself as, a star seed or earth seed or regular human. We all want to have a really nice human experience on this planet. And it can really help us to know a lot about the past and the future and all of those things. But the more we can center and enjoy this present moment, the more we can enjoy, and we raise our frequency, and we can be in that love and light that just assist people in remember. what state they can be in. So everything is becoming simpler. I think we made it very advanced a couple of years ago with the spirituality and the psychology. But if we can make it a little bit easier and just trying to assist each other and activate each other through being who we are, and enjoy life, then we can activate each other in remembering how it should be, that heaven on earth is already here.
Yeah. Yeah. You talk a lot about ascension and activation. Can you just tell our listeners what those two words mean? Let's do ascension. What does ascension mean to
Yeah,
people?
ascension for me is when you ascend, you go up, you raise your consciousness level. That's usually how I see it. So in the ascension, you raise your consciousness level and you can access more and more information. So that means you don't only access
Okay.
information about what's going on here, you can access information on more and more higher dimensions, which means you come to the multi-dimensional level. And you asked about something more, ascension, and what did you ask, please?
Activation.
Ascension and
Activation.
activation.
Yeah. So
Okay. So what
activation
does
is the same
activation mean?
actually as activation is the same thing as transfiguration. Many people know what transfiguration is, but that's really when you activate
Yes.
cells, cellular memory, DNA strains, like everything inside of you, really. It can be again physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, different aspects, different organs and cells and codes that already have all the information, that has the truth, that has the essence. And that is when we start to activate, the truth comes. So activating is activating the truth, the essence, coming back to where we started and who we really are, unlearning to remember who we are. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the fact that you mentioned earlier that the
I love
um,
that.
a lot of the times or I guess sometimes people can go too much into their, like, they know all their past lives and all of that, yet they're still struggling to have the human experience,
Yeah.
which I feel like there are a lot of times when I do talk to people, it's kind of like they want to skip over that. Like they want to kind of skip over the being human part and just play up here kind of in the app, play. And it's like, so what do you do when you come across like that type of situation where it's like they know, they're working so much up here that they
Mm.
forget to, like, how do you kind of help bring them back and kind of ground them?
It has to do a lot with different kind of many times. Um, we have this strategy
Right.
when we grow up where we escape energetically from our body. So that's something, when you have like a really strong connection upwardly, you have in any uncomfortable situation since you were a small child, you're escaping energetically. You look like you're there, but you're not there energetically. So that's already like a pattern for even surviving in the environment where you were growing up. That's the first thing. But then on a really high spiritual level, what I'm seeing when I was having a lot of sessions before was that many souls have actually not anchored into earth and said a full yes to be here and be incarnated here. So I usually need to work on that. So when you go in deep and work on a soul level, you see that they haven't actually said yes to be here fully. So then the soul needs to make a choice. The person, do I want to be here? And then start to do really simple practices as learning to ground and connect with the energy and frequency of Mother Earth, and not only connecting upwardly. So there's both like healing, of course. Usually there's wounds from the childhood where we feel very unsafe and we can feel betrayal and abandoned very easily and rejected. So that hits, and then you go way up. So you get to know your wounds and how to hold your little girl or little boy, but then also to do that soul work and anchor into Mother Earth. So yeah, there's several things to do, but at least start start to feel Mother Earth energetically and anchor and ground into her heart. And that can take months. For me, it took 2 months from really sitting for 1 hour every day and start to feel energetically, because I was the one really escaping all the time. I was meditating for hours. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to be in my marriage. I didn't want to be anywhere really that was like uncomfortable, only in the juicy situations. So I was just escaping and, traveling up there and starting to ground made all the difference, because energetically
Mhm.
we are here. Mm.
Mhm.
Long answer.
Yeah.
That
I think it's
that's a great.
important. We have to play both. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I was going to ask you
Absolutely.
too, speaking of balance, because you're a successful business, you've got to a certain level. What do you do for yourself to check out sometimes? What does your self-care look like?
Oh, so every morning I wake up and I always clear my energy field for 30 minutes. I do very advanced energy clearing. So I work a lot with the art of dark. So I'm clearing a lot since I'm out there. I get a lot of psychic attacks and curses and black magic and stuff. So I need to clear my field very, very, very much. So there's no interference in the path. So that's 30 minutes. And then always I pray and connect to God and God's source and my family of light, and being very clear with what I want to feel, sense, and experience and serve throughout the day. That's something very important. And then during the day, I always take a rest for like 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And then I go to
Yeah.
nature a lot. I have amazing, by now, thank God, I'm 47
Yeah.
now. I have all of my family is on this path, my mother, my brother, my partner, my children, and all of my friends. So, you go through this path and you clear, or you're not clear, but you change the people around you. And I just love to spend time with them and laugh. And I do a lot of like childless stuff. I like to really engage my divine inner child and allow her to decide, if she want to eat an ice cream, she can eat an ice cream. If she want to roll in the grass, she rolls in the grass, because spirituality can be so serious. So she wants to laugh, and since January she's demanding belly laughs every day, and I
Yeah.
barely laugh. So I get pain in my belly. That's my intention every day, because I'm done with struggle and I'm done with sacrifice. I need to have belly laughs every day, and that fills me up. I can even laugh about spirituality and how goofy we are with everything. I don't know if that's an answer.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, no, it's really good. Earlier you spoke on it just a little bit here, so I want to kind of go for our people. In my last therapy session, they've brought it up too. Inner child work, right?
Hmm.
Do you have any advice for people who should do some inner child work? What does that mean? Because our people just don't realize that, right? So if I was to say you need to do some inner child work, what does that mean?
It means to come in connection with your little girl or your little boy, get to know her or him. And because like I say, she's communicating all the time. And if you get to know her and you honor her and allow her to be heard and felt, your whole life will change, because she's subconsciously ruling your world until you get to know her. And when you get to know her, you can allow her to speak out when she feels scared, when she feels abandoned, and she can speak out and you can hold her. So that means that suddenly, you're not living someone else's life. You start to really become in, not control, I don't like that word, but you become very conscious in every vulnerable situation, when it's your inner child that is wounded many times
Right.
from past experiences and not being safe, and when you're experiencing situations from your adult, and getting to know your inner child is like, it's priceless. My inner girl, she's loud, she can scream, like, she can shout, and if I try to shut her down now, You will see it. You will see it in my whole being. I look so weird and my energy is so weird and I cannot even pretend to not let her be heard. So it's very important because she's like a big part of us. And many times until we've healed the little girl, the little boy, we are always trying to get comfort from our parents. So we are seeking out our parents to give us what they probably will never ever be able to give us. And it was really never ever, on a higher level what they were going to give us. So then you start to parent your own child, and that creates immense amount of safety, which also take you to that place where you will start to be all that you are, and you will not be afraid to be crazingly, amazingly unique. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Do you think it'll have a difference for people in relationships with their parents? Because a lot of people hold
Oh, yes. Yeah.
anger towards parents, right, for what they've been through and everything. But do you think, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
It makes you a
I
better
love that. I love that.
parent.
Oh, this
It
is such a
makes
good
you a
talk.
Yeah, it makes yourself a better parent, but it
Okay.
also makes you having a much better relationship with your parents massively, because you don't go around and try to make them give you something that they don't have the capacity to give you. But suddenly you start to really understand what you want to give to your children. And also you give compassion to yourself when you actually cannot give that to yourself, because I have
Yeah.
3 children and I know the big amount of shame I've been having when they were younger for everything I couldn't give them. And suddenly, we heal towards our parents, and then we heal as a parent to
Yeah,
our
for sure.
children, and then we get very very compassionate towards ourselves when we're not that perfect, parent that we think in the commercials or the movies that we're seeing. Yeah.
That we should have been, right? A lot of
Yeah.
guilt and shame comes with that for sure. So I think you're right. People will get a lot out of it, going that. Keith Fletcher says grounding is sometimes so hard for him. So any tips on how to ground?
Yeah. So grounding is really about feeling. Like, you can start with connecting with the soles of your feet and see if you can feel any energy or bubbling sensations underneath the soles of your feet. If you don't feel that, start to just visualize that underneath the soles of your feet on the floor on earth there's massive amount of energy. See if you can start to connect with that, visualize and intend to connect to that energy. And usually you start to feel a bubbling sensation underneath the soles of your feet. And then you know that you're starting to ground. And then you can continue that, like you're feeling and sensing your own body, your own energy, and that needs some practice. But you start to send out roots from your soles of your feet, and that bubbling sensation. You're sending roots, your energy down through roots down into earth. So that's something you can start with. And then of course you can connect to your heart, and if you start to practice to connect to your heart energy, you can start to send down your heart energy down to earth and start to feel what happens when you enter Mother Earth. But that requires some practice and some commitment. And then you can go down, you can visualize that you're going down to Mother Earth's heart and connecting to her energy. And then you can start to feel, how is she feeling today? Because she's also going through an ascension. But the soles of the feet, feeling that bustling sensation, is a fast one.
Oh, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that
I
answer.
love
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. I've
Yes.
also been seeing in the, I know, don't you? It's so good. There's also something, I'm on TikTok, so too much sometimes just scrolling through TikTok, but there's something interesting in the spiritual community that's happening. There's a whole shift to feminine energy, right? Have you seen a
Mm.
personal shift? And what I mean by that, what do I mean by that? Feminine and masculine. I'm talking maybe about me personally too. I've had to have a lot of masculine, right? And I think a lot of independent women carry the masculine energy a little bit more because we have to be so independent, right? We have to make sure we're getting everything done. And that can come into play with relationships because it's hard for us to surrender. but I don't know. I personally feel this need to return back to the feminine. I don't know if you've seen that in your practice. Is there a need to return back as women? I don't know. What are your
This
thoughts on
is
the whole
a
masculine energy,
big
feminine energy?
this is a big topic for me because I've been working with this for many, many, many years. I have courses and stuff in this, and I've been holding circles for a long, long time. And it goes so far back. I mean, from all this time lifetimes of suppression, right? The women were so suppressed, so we needed to take the energy and the power back, and we did that, but it went too far, and it
Right.
the feminine became wounded. The feminine became wounded, and the divine feminine was kind of, many of us became strong. I was also in need to become strong because my mother was so suppressed. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be a powerful woman. I'm going to be successful and businesswoman. I'm going to
Mhm.
get my things together. But what happens, of course, is that we also start to look at the feminine as something, we start to reject the feminine because we look at it as something that was
Yeah.
weak. So the wounded feminine needed to start to heal. And that has slowly happened for a couple of years now. I think I've been working with a wounded feminine for 10 years. And it's a massive, major subject because the men, to be honest, this is just my opinion, will not ever be able to click in to divine union until we have really entered our full divine feminine, owning our sexual energy, which is our full life force energy. So if we have blocked sexual energy, we will also have blocked life force energy. So, but I mean, this is huge topic. It has to do with ancestral clearing and healing and all of these things. But we need to understand that the divine
Yeah.
feminine needs to be really awakened in both men and women. But as you said, in a relationship, I mean, I've been working as a relationship therapist for many, many years. I don't know, having all these women working on the self, growing, and they were like, oh my god, I'm so tired of my man, and la 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 la, and really like blaming the man. And of course there was not a chance for the man to come in because the woman was not softening into his arms. She was telling him what to do and not to do and how to do it. And then you kill the whole testosterone and the
Yes.
masculine and the divine masculine, right? That really just wants to hold you, and you need to be
Yeah.
able to soften. But if we look at our
Yeah.
mothers, they didn't soften into their husband either. They were not affectionate. So there's a
Mm-mm.
huge shift and transformation that needs to happen. And for me personally, as a businesswoman, I was hands on everything before, full on my masculine power, making things happen like this. Today, I have two
Yeah.
managers, not only one, and I have so many employees that does everything for me, and I don't double check
I love it.
anything. I don't double check anything. I was like so double checking everything before. Now I'm just like in this
Everything.
amazing female soft flow, and if they don't allow me to be in that flow, I actually cannot either transmit source energy, because the feminine energy holds them magnetic. So we are the ones bringing in the information, and the masculine bodies transmit it out. So this is huge. I can talk about this forever,
Ah.
as you hear. Yeah. I work with this so
Yeah.
much. It's a huge topic, and I mean, now also
Do you?
women are awake. We are awakening, and we want the man to wake up, and the man are too scared yet to open up. They want to see us soft. They want to see us being vulnerable. They want to really feel, okay, is it safe? Is she gonna really open her heart? And I see that happening now, and that's why people starting to go into
Yeah.
really deep divine unions, and amazing sacred marriage energetically starts to
Mhm.
happen. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. There is a need to go back to that, and I feel the urge myself. But and I agree with you. It's coming, right? But then the men have to step up too. There has to be a both thing. So we can both align. So I could talk about it too. I feel it myself in my own stuff. You just mentioned the word flow, and I wanted to tell you something so cute about how synchronicities work and everything. You use flow a lot. And I'm going to do a retreat next year in Belize, and I'm calling it flow as well. What does flow mean to you? What is that? Why
Flow.
flow?
So flow is when I let go of any kind of ideas of the details, and let go of any kind of trying to control or plan. It's more about flow happens when I click into synchronicity, and that's when I create a lot of space. And flow is really when if something feels heavy or there's a resistance there, just checking it. Okay, so there's something here about me that I don't see. If it's not, then it's like, okay, this is not for me. I'm moving, because it shouldn't be a struggle. It shouldn't be working towards something that feels heavy anymore. We shouldn't leak that energy. So flow is really when we're receiving guidance, inner knowing, following inner knowing without needing to know details. And then flow happens and everything opens up and synchronicity can happen. If we don't open up for that, then synchronicity and flow cannot happen. If we have a schedule like tung 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 tung, I've been there, there's not a lot of flow and there's not a lot of synchronicity. It's not easy always.
I love that.
It's
That's what I
not
tell my
always
people too. I think,
easy.
just that one piece of advice you like. Oh,
Yeah.
No, I mean, the 11th of January,
it's
I
not
did
easy,
this.
but if you flow, yeah, I'm a big flower.
Yeah.
Flow and grow is what my whole saying is. Flow and grow, because you got to flow. If you're being met with resistance all the time, then you're not flowing in your essence and what you're supposed to be doing. So you said something, so I
Yeah.
loved it. I wanted to
I see
hear
there's
flow.
two different kind of people. That there's some people that usually needs to connect more to flow, but then I've also met people that are so much in the flow that they actually need some structure also. So it's interesting. We usually have our weak spots that we need to check in on.
True.
So some are like so flowy that you're like, okay, you need to actually create some like a container for all of that flowing divine feminine energy. So that's where the
Structure.
masculine, that's where the masculine comes in and holds space. So it's about, really finding, we all have the feminine, we all have the masculine. We tend to have an overload of one of them, and then the human path here is to find the other aspect and find the balance and own it. It's okay to be like, I'm a little bit too flowy, I need more structure, or I'm a little bit too structured and I need more flow. So own it, laugh about it, and have a nice journey.
I'm writing all my notes down. I'm owning it. Own it.
Yeah, own it. Like,
Well,
that's awesome.
yeah. I love it too, because I find a lot of the times in my work, I actually was talking to one of my team members not too long ago, because she was trying to, there were certain things she wanted to happen, and she was trying to be so structured about exactly who those people were going to be, how it was going to work, in what order they were going to come in, all the things. And I was like, oh my goodness, you gotta stop. You just gotta go. Like, cause I feel like, especially in my business and things like that, the more I can just go, okay, I need this to happen. You take care of it, figure it out. And then just be able to trust that it's gonna happen. Yeah. And then that allows me to go back to doing the steps and taking the action that actually allow those things all of a sudden to come in. But if I try to sit there and control, like, if we're talking about clients, if we're talking about, whatever, if I try to sit there and control who's it going to be, when are they going to come in, like, then it all gets messed. It's like, basically, if I try to take care of it, it gets messed up.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, let's just throw it back to spirit and say, you take care of this because this is what I need to have
Yeah.
happen.
But to everyone listening now and feel like, oh my God, how can I change this? Is like, I mean, it has been so beneficial in the old world to have control. And I guess, I mean, you're also successful, both of you, and you are where you are because of that old way of controlling stuff. So it has been beneficial, and
Mhm.
so it's hard, it's hard to let go of something that you think kept you safe. So be gentle, we need to be gentle to ourselves, and we also I feel like we need validation to keep trusting and keep flowing, keep letting go, because if we don't get any validation that this
Mhm.
is a good new path to take, we will not make the change. So yeah, I mean, for everyone, let's see that as in our human experience, we really need to experience that this is something to continue with, and then it happens in stages, right? It's not happening over a day to let go and start to flow and trust only, but when we do, magic really happens.
Absolutely.
I think too, when you release control over any outcomes, you lower the expectation, or you can manage your expectations better. So a lot of people who have these expectations is because they're trying to control outcomes. So if you just release your control of what the outcome should allow it to flow where it's meant to be, I think you can manage expectations. There's so much to flowing and so much that will help your life just in that one little theory or theology or whatever we want to call it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It change your life. It can.
Yeah, but not to forget about intentions also, though,
One
because
last question. Well, two
uh,
last questions.
yeah, we just like, I feel like so
Yes.
many people are talking about,
Go
letting go
ahead.
because we really needed to put it into the world to let go. But don't forget to manifest intention, set your intention, set something completely different into controlling and setting goals. Because I know my
Yes.
family of light and the guides, they want to have clear intentions from us. And of course, we let go of the details and exactly how it's going to happen. But if you have a
Yes.
clear intention with how you want to
Yes.
feel and how you want to experience a certain thing or your life, then you know the direction you're sending your energy to. So don't forget intentions. Just a little heads up.
Perfect. Yeah, I forgot too. Perfect. That's a very important piece. It all starts with intention, right?
Yeah.
One last question, and there are a few people who are watching tonight, but actually I have two questions. So we'll end in two because I'm experiencing this myself, and you've been doing this for 27 years. Have you watched your gifts change? Have they changed over time? Do they get better? Do some get taken away? Like, how has your gifts changed 27
Mm.
years working with people? Does that make any sense how I'm asking it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I see it as
Let's
we
say when you
have.
first started,
Mm.
yeah.
I mean, my core, I believe that we all have like one or two core gifts that we have from the beginning, and we're using them all the time, actually, but we're using them from the wrong way. We use them to survive and to feel worthy of existing. And as we heal, we start to use them from a much safer and calm place, and then they develop. Um, I mean, what I've been seeing is that I always see a person's highest potential, and that I still do. How I work around that
Mhm.
gift have changed though, because before I was trying to kind of fix them or make them see and
Change.
understand, and now I'm giving that back to them. But like more in like clear
Yeah.
in the clear senses, some things are changing. So at for a while I was working a lot with let's say a lot with archangels, a lot with ascended masters, and that changed it. But that's not more of the gifts, it's more like the connection with different spiritual beings, and now I work more directly up with God's source.
Wow.
But also what I'm
Okay.
noticing in myself and my students, it's that we are not
Sure.
supposed to see as much as we were seeing before. So if you're working with healing and channeling, then we're not supposed to see as much as before because there's a lot of darkness there, and you don't need to see, but the inner knowing is getting strengthened. So I see a lot of the old clairvoyance and stuff are shifting a lot, and it has been shifting within me too, because we're not supposed to see in that way. We're not supposed to tell people
Is
about
it?
those
Okay.
details. So it's more about inner knowing. So in one way, it shifts, but the main gift, I don't see change, but how you do the mission changes. Mm,
Got
yeah.
you. Thank you. I think that's perfect. Yeah. And then our last question of the night, and then we'll do a few card pulls since we don't have that many people on TikTok. In the theory of, or in the theme of, oh shit, you can't make this stuff up. Like, do you have a story of something that you could tell our listeners? Because I always say, once you go on this journey, it's so fascinating, it's so magical, and sometimes it's unbelievable what happens to us and the synchronicities that happens and the things we see and the things we experience. Do you have one of those stories you can tell our listeners? Like, you can't make this stuff up story.
I mean, I really feel I'm living in a magical world right now, because it's every single day there's something exceptional happening. I'm like really
Yay.
honest about that. That's happening all the time. But something that I really, really love is that um, my guides, when I did my course, I was like, oh my god, do you mean I'm gonna teach and I'm gonna create a whole course by myself? And they were like, chill out, it's not about you really. You're just a little bit more crazy than others, and you have decided this with other women, and they will find you. When they see you, they're gonna find you. You just need to get yourself out there, and don't get so personal about it. It's not really, they're going to find you. And I started to see that this is going to be women from the Atlantean timelines, and this all of them are higher priestesses. And as I was starting to have my interviews 3 years ago for my training, they all came and they remembered me the moment they saw me. They felt that instant connection, and they knew that I need to be held, by her and guided by her. And they also had a strong connection with Atlantean timelines, and that never ever ever hits wrong. And it's beautiful to see once the course starts, because then everyone just interconnect, and they start to remember each other through past lifetimes and stuff. And I've done this for 3 years. I've had many, many, many students, and it never fails, and it really works. So that magic means you can bring that on. When you feel that you recognize
I love
someone,
that.
know that you have many lifetimes with them, and you don't need to know them for years in this incarnation to feel safe with them. Yeah.
I love that. Keith, he's very active tonight, Keith. No bedtime yet, Keith? I love how the universe helps you out in the best ways. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing all your knowledge, your 27 years of experience. We're going to pull some cards. We have a few people on Facebook and YouTube listening. So we are going to just pick cards for people at random. How about that? And we have like 10 minutes left of
Yeah.
the show. We'll just have some fun with
Yay.
card pulls. Sound good, everybody? Yeah? I have my
Yes,
deck.
Mm,
Cassie, you have your deck?
I do.
And
me
then Mia got
too.
her deck. So
Mm-hmm.
Lulu says
all right, so
yes.
pull one for Arlene. Yes.
All right. So who do you want
Can't hear
to?
me. Yeah. She did.
So, all right. So who are we pulling
I'm
for?
falling behind, guys, because I can't hear nothing. Maybe I'll go first. Arlene. Arlene. Ooh. Got it.
Oh, let's see.
I'll go first. Ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Make sure you guys can hear me. She's the very top.
Okay.
Got her. Okay. Arlene, I got the resilience card. So to me, that's me that you've kind of been going through some trials and tribulations lately, and things haven't always been easy within the last few months. And this is your message from Spirit, just to be resilient, right? Tribulations, you're meant to be here for a reason, and it's a great reason. And so as these trials and tribulations come into your path, just remember your light. That's what I got for you. Good luck. Who wants to go next?
Mia, go ahead.
Cassie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a question or
Okay.
just I just draw
Yeah.
a card?
Just draw a card. We're just,
Okay.
yeah, we're doing in general readings.
And for who am I picking the card?
Arlene?
Arlene, okay.
Yes.
Arlene, right there.
Okay. So here we have one. The Temple of Poseidon. This is the Atlantean card deck. So when the golden age of Atlantis was prepared, the Intergalactic Council first built the Temple of Poseidon on the sacred heights. The great crystal itself was used in the temple, which only the highest priestess could access. As it shimmered in the sunlight, the general purpose the populace looked at it and inspired for a lot of hope. So this is really about new beginnings, and it's so interesting because this cards is all about new beginnings, and we are entering the 1111 portal on Friday. And as we're entering the 1111 portal, it's this amazing big opportunity to create new beginnings. So the guidance for you, like the guides are talking so much now, it's really for you to spend time in contemplation now before you enter the portal on Friday, and really sit down with what do you want to embody and what are you ready for now. Like really, what are you ready for now? If there's something you're ready for now, then just bring it with you as you walk through the portal and visualize yourself walking through and knowing that this is going to start in whatever way it will start. And yes, new beginnings are coming for you.
Absolutely.
I
And
love
the
that. I love that.
yes.
Who's next, Cassie?
And the card that I pulled is the Queen of Fire. And we know her best by the Queen of Wands. And so that is really this card really depicts somebody who is standing in their power, and she's actually one of the only queens in the deck that will that actually is facing square out. And there's a lot of creative energy with this card, and so I feel like there are maybe some ideas and things that you have been working on or starting to bring to life, and I think that is something that is going to help. Just taking the time to really focus on those projects is going to help just direct your energy and your intentions and really help. And I really feel like it's going to bring a lot of positive into your life. That is my card.
Awesome. Good job, guys. Good job. Who's next?
Let's see. What
Cassie.
about Lori Davis?
Yay, Lori. All right, I'll go first. It's funny, we have on the same vibration, apparently. So this card is called the New Beginnings card. It's a beautiful phoenix. And so, Lori, this is about your feeling. This is the new beginning of a new life for you. The weight under you, like this picture just shows the fire, and I just feel there's a new excitement around life and around what's coming for you. And so like, there's a bunch of momentum. So ride the momentum and ride it and be like the phoenix coming out of the ashes. Because that's what I feel. I feel there's like a rebirth, a reborn for you. Not that you're going to be a different person, but you're going to be a different person. And I just feel like you're just rising above it all. So congratulations on the new journey you're on. I'm super proud of you. All right, who's next? Mia, your turn.
Yes.
Go for it.
So, so this is the card. It says contentment. And this means that it's really time for you to spend some time in really going back to this year and looking at what actually you have achieved, everything that you have transformed and changed throughout this very intense 11 months. And really see where were you in November last year and how far you've come. And through that, really create this very softness inside of you and contentment and understanding that everything that you really want, you already have it. And that creates this energy of exhaling and pausing a little bit before ending this year. Good luck and good work.
And the card that I got is the Ace.
Cassie.
Yes, the card that I got was the Ace of Water, and this card is it. What I get with this is be gentle with yourself. I feel like as you're kind of moving into this new beginnings, it's you're really it, I feel like you're on a really good path, but I also feel like it's going to bring up like some of those things, like as you're healing and as you're moving forward and as you're moving. But I feel like, just really be gentle with yourself and really focus on the positive, because you have so much light to give. That's what I get with this one. All right.
Nice. Good job. Yay. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Lulu. Just saying hi to everybody. We have time for probably one more.
Yeah. Who do you want to do?
Lori says, it's like you all are in my head right now. This was powerful. Thank you. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Let's do Melissa really quick, and then we'll do Lulu last. Poor Lulu. I need to get her in too.
Okay.
Melissa, me. Hey, Melissa, I pulled a card for you, and I got the illusion card. I think it's really interesting that you got this card, right? Because I think right now you're being faced with a lot, right? And a lot is coming into your experience that's going to have you question a lot of different things and what's next and what's real and the illusion of life and the realness of the afterlife, right? So embrace the truth, and you're starting to learn the truth, and there's more to this life than this life. And I just want to pour into you so much. And I know I'm going to see you on Saturday for a private, but just we'll talk more about it. But it's all an illusion. We live in an illusion here, and everything's okay. And you could still have relationships. They just look different. If that makes any sense, right? So I'm going to, good night, Keith. I'm going to send that to you with love. The other girls will read more into you, and then I'll see you on Saturday. All right, who's next?
Okay,
Mia.
Melissa.
Mia.
Melissa, it says
Melissa
enlightenment here.
Yes.
So it's about letting go about thinking so much about tomorrow and really bringing in the spirit of peace into now. That's really very necessary, because there's a lot of energy leakage for you right now in being too much in tomorrow and the future. So it's really about being here, being present, and start to really find out the magic that happens in this here and now. And from there, tomorrow will happen in flow, as we talked about.
Absolutely. And I got the King of Air, which our air signs are connected to our swords. My deck is all elemental; it all connects. I love it.
Nice.
But what I actually get with this card, because if you can see it, it actually has these kind of connecting lines and things like that. And I think that there's it, to me, what it says is that there is, it's actually kind of cool because on this, it's like I keep getting this look of like your spirit being connected to the earth on this card. Just the way that it's laid out, just not even going into the actual meaning of the card itself, because I'm being more drawn to just the way it's all kind of interconnected. And I think that that's just something you kind of just to focus on, and realizing that it actually kind of goes along with what we were talking about on the show tonight, which is, you know, as you're becoming more spiritually inclined, make sure you also stay grounded. Make sure, because I feel like otherwise you're gonna end up finding that resistance. And so if you're finding that resistance, figure out where you're not connected, where you're not allowing that love.
Yay. And then last but not least, we got to get Lulu, because I feel like we always skip her because she comes in kind of late. So we're going to do Lulu real fast. I'm with a card for you. And your card is choices. Time to make the best choices. So I feel like choices are coming into your life right now. And a lot of old stuff maybe coming up on people pleasing or making choices that aren't really based around your best interest or what you want to do. Sometimes we make choices for other people. This card is a reminder. Yeah, she says, yay, thanks. This card is a reminder to you that it's time to make the best choices for you. And it's really interesting because I don't know if you've got parented. Like on this card, there's like mom and daughter on here too. And so I feel like there's been a lot of influence maybe with family. And so it's okay to run in your own lane, and it's okay to do your own thing and to say no. So all about choices, and just make sure they're the ones that it's right for you. Okay. Yes. All right, Mia, what you got?
So this is pools of energy, which means that this is so aligned with the portal again, because you can bring in your family of light, like really call in if you believe or are connected with angels or ascended masters or God source, and bring in these pools of energy. And it's really time for you to manifest your dreams. It's so clear through this message, and it couldn't be a better timing with the portal. So really manifest your dreams and call in your family of light.
Absolutely. And the card I pulled for you is it's actually the 5 of air, and I'll just put it close because really I feel like this card is about kind of taking there's this side of you that you kind of it's kind of taking off the mask and not being okay about being authentic. And I think that there's a bit of fear of you allowing people to see like the real you. And I think that what you're going to find is that the more you kind of pull back that mask and you allow people to see that then the more you're going to find that the right people will be attracted to you, and you're going to find a lot more authentic relationships. It's scary, I know, but it's okay. It'll be okay.
Good job. Yay! Yeah, and our hour goes by so fast, right? It goes by so fast. So, Cassie, where can everybody see Mia's stuff if they wanted to get in touch with Mia?
So where can they find you?
They can find me at Grow by Mia on Facebook and Grow by Mia on YouTube, and on my Instagram it's Grow by Mia _official. So usually if you just Google Grow by Mia, you will find, and also my website is growbymia.com. And I have a lot of free stuff, like a lot of activations, healings. I do energy updates every week. So there's a lot that I'm trying to assist with for free. I really try to do as much as possible, as you beautiful girls and women are doing. Thank you so much for this beautiful show. Yeah, Tracy and Cassie, so beautiful show. Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. And then I'm the Red Couch Medium. You can find me in all social media outlets. You can also Google me.
Yep.
We need a new computer. I need a new computer because we were so delayed. So sorry about that.
New computer.
Yeah. You can find me in all social media outlets. There's something going on with it. It's like delayed. The Red Couch Medium everywhere. You can Google me too, but I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I'm out there. But yeah. Where can people find you, Miss Cass?
They can find me at Stargazers Unite. Basically, Stargazers Unite, stargazers.unite across all platforms, and yeah, websites, logos, and branding for spiritual business owners. So
she does a great job. So yay. Thanks again, Mia, for being on the show. We appreciate your experience and your wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to all the listeners.
Yes, yes. In the spirit of that, we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.
See you all next time.
Next time. Bye. About room.